All right, guys, it's day 1 of the Embrace the Grind challenge. Day 2, day 3, it's Wednesday. Day 4, day 5.
Flip it.
Seven Mile Casinos, this is Jasmine. How may I help you?
Hi, Jasmine. Can you put Johnny on the list for 5-5 no limit?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, guys, it's day 9.
Right onto Herbert Street.
Come on, I'm trying to give a little monologue. Last night was pretty fun. I had a pretty interesting session. I was actually down 1100 at one point. I actually did get one bluff in yesterday, which I don't really love. And I think that I honestly was probably experiencing a little bit of tilt. Raise an early position to $30 from a regular in the game. He's kind of sticky, but he's definitely willing to fold, especially against me. Our dynamic is that he thinks that I always have it. So I flat the button with King 10 of hearts, have some evil intentions in mind. The big blind also calls when we go 3 ways to a flop. Ace, Queen, 10 with 2 clubs, no hearts. I don't have a back door. And he continues for $80. Obviously, he has me beat. This board texture is just so much better for him than it is for me. And this is why I should just be folding on the flop. So anyways, I call. We are off to the turn, which is a club. The flush draw comes in, and he now checks. And based on him raising from under the gun pre-flop and him continuing on this board texture, I don't think he's ever going to have a flush here. I think he's going to have some sets. He's going to have some 2 pairs. He's going to have some ace kings. So I settle on $140, which is actually a pretty small bet. And my plan is that as long as there's no board pair on the river, I'm going to bomb the river. And I actually don't expect him to fold on the turn here, pretty much ever. So he calls pretty quickly. So the river card is great, no board pair. He checks it over to me, and I go for 520, which is nearly a full pot bet. And he thinks about it for a long time, and he starts at me and moaning. If it were anyone else, he would just pay it off, but he can't stand the thought of giving me money. He'd rather get bluffed by me than to give me money. And he ends up folding, which is a great result for us. I don't show him because I don't want him to blow up on me, but I make a post about it on Instagram, and wouldn't you know it, somebody in the poker room sends him a screenshot of my Instagram. So now he knows that I bluffed him, number 1. Number 2, he's not happy that I'm like quote unquote bragging about it on the internet. So as this is happening, I end up rivering the nuts against his friend who had top 2 and shoved in on the river, and he paid me off. Played for approximately 5 hours and booked approximately a $700 win. Day number 9 of the vlog starts as soon as we can get out of 5 o'clock San Diego, Southern California rush hour traffic. All right, before we get into day 9, there is somebody that I have to introduce you guys to. They made their debut appearance on Live at the Bike last Wednesday, and boy, did they make quite the splash.
Holy shit.
No, guys, it wasn't Mamacita.
Mamacita's world. She got him.
I woke up with kings.
No, guys, seriously. I'm talking about Patrick Curran, the graphics guy. The guy wearing the orange hoodie. Gordon Ramsay's little brother.
Patrick, our graphics guy, making his debut.
Anyway, I gave him a trial run last week to edit some hand histories for me, and I think he did a great job. So we worked out a trade where I'm going to help him with his cash game, and he's going to help me with some hand histories. And we are going to tame this orange beast. He's got a lot of great tools to work with. His aggressiveness is on point. And with a little coaching and a little guidance, I think that Patrick has the talent to become a crusher in the mid stakes. Okay, so back to day 9. We were in for 1500 early on when I got involved in a really big hand. You can see the aftermath of the hand right here, where I called a raise from the blind with ace-8 of clubs, 6 ways to a flop, and flop top 2. Ended up getting it in on the turn versus what I can only assume was ace king and holding for a $1,000 double up, $2,000 pot. And it set the tone for a great session. In for 1500, out for 35.75, good for over a $2,000 profit, and my best day on the grind so far. Day 10, January 31st. I am 1 hour behind schedule, which isn't bad. I did do some running around today. I shipped off some packages for some hoodies. I went and picked up more hoodies to restock in my store. About to get day number 10 started. If I cut tonight's session short a little bit, I'll make it up on Friday or Saturday. Definitely don't want to play all day on Sunday because it's the Super Bowl. So here we go. Day 10, get started right now. All right, good morning, guys. It's day 11 of Embrace the Grind, and last night did not go well. The game was fine, but I wasn't running well, and as a result, I definitely was forcing things. I wasn't letting the game come to me, and overall I just felt impatient. Woke up to Poker News posting about my challenge and a bunch of comments about how people are inspired to get on their grind in whatever domain of life it is. I definitely feel some pressure to continue the grind, and I posted about it on Instagram, and a couple people got back to me and reminded me to take my own advice, to let the game come to me. So rather than rush out the door on this rainy day and get to the casino, it's around 1 p.m. I think I'm gonna hit a massage and work on some content, and not gonna go play until around 5 and walk into day 11 at the 7 mile feeling fresh, feeling relaxed, and feeling ready to go. Day 11 of Embrace the Grind on this dreary night in San Diego. So we walk into day 11 determined to let the game come to us, and that's precisely what happens within the first 30 minutes when we look down at pocket aces in the hijack, raise it up to $20, get a call from the button. Big blind now 3-bets us to 120. We 4-bet it to 300. 300. Folds back to the big blind, and he calls. There's definitely some confusion here when he calls. I actually think that he moves all in. I actually say call, but apparently he just called my 300. Oh, I thought you were all in.
No, you said you're good.
Oh.
It's too much.
Oh, I thought he said go ahead, man, and he pushed his chips
No,
forward.
he's just pushing a call.
Oh.
Okay, guys, that's all.
Sorry. I almost put my hand over. So when the flop comes all low cards and he only has around $500 left, I don't want to give him any reason to fold, so I bet 100 on the flop. He obviously calls. And after the turn comes down, I put him in for his last 250 or so. He obviously calls it off, suspecting that I have aces. All in?
Hey, man, you good? Call.
Aces, yeah. Damn. You knew it too. And we quickly start off the session up $600. About 20 minutes later, we get must moved into the main game when I pick up pocket aces again, open it up from under the gun, small blind calls, and the straddler calls. Flop comes ace high. There is a flush draw, so I decide to continue for around half pot. Small blind folds, and the straddler reluctantly gives up pocket queens. I have no idea why he didn't 3-bet me pre. But as it turns out, the guy in the small blind, his name is Ben Moon, WSOP champion. He actually tells me that he folded pocket kings, aces versus kings versus queens, and we win $100. You had kings? Yeah. That's so sick. The biggest hand of the session that I played turned out to be with pocket kings, limp from under the gun. We are under the gun +1. We make it 40. Button calls 40, and the under the gun limper now re-raises to 205. He has around $1,300. He's done a lot of limp folding against me, so it feels like he's taking a stand this time. So I make it 500. 500?
500.
And after he calls, we see a flop of queen, 5, 4, rainbow, and he just open jams around $750. I waste no time in making the call. The turn is a jack of clubs, and the river is the deuce of spades. Not a good board for me.
4.
He wanted to talk it out on the vlog the next day, so I got him on camera. Let's hear what he has to say about the hand. Why'd you try making a move on me with King 4?
Went over the top of me by making 500. That's when I was supposed to fold.
Yeah.
Okay?
Did you learn your lesson?
Yeah.
Yeah? Are you gonna do that again?
Never again.
In for 1,000, out for 28.71, good for a 18.71 profit, and on to day 12.
Poker room, this is Kyle.
Hi Scott, can you put JV on the list for 2.5?
JB25, you got it, buddy.
Alright, thanks, bye.
Bye.
Day 12, February 1st, 2019. Let's get it. We're going to Barona, a house of horrors for me. Last Friday we went to Barona and lost $4,156. That number is ingrained into my head. I got absolutely annihilated. Do you guys ever feel like certain places you just run bad at, or you just don't like the game in general? You don't feel at home in those games? I kind of feel like that with Barona, even though this is really the only time I've been there. But there are some people that are underage that can't go to 7 Mile that wanted to say hi and hang out and talk a little bit. So we're going back to Barona and we're gonna come back for some redemption. And deep down inside, I don't believe in running bad at certain places. Sure, maybe I feel more at home at 7 Mile, but day 12 starts now. Pretty early on in the session, we get dealt ace, queen of hearts. Early position player makes it 15. We make it 50 in late position. Original raiser calls, and we see a flop of queen jack 9 rainbow. He check calls 50 on the flop. 4 of diamonds falls on the turn, and now he check calls 100. The river is a jack, and now he leads for 200. This guy is a complete unknown. I know nothing about him. Never going to be folding this hand versus an unknown. This definitely could be a blocker type bet. Unfortunately, he rolls over king jack, so it definitely feels like more of the same for me here at Barona. In this hand, we open ace jack of diamonds. The button calls. Big blind makes it 80. Pretty small sizing. Despite the small sizing, it's actually a hand that we can be folding here because he has less than $1,000. And he just looks like the type of guy that is not going to be 3-betting a wide range. But I didn't sit in traffic for an hour to come to the casino and fold ace jack suited. We end up going heads up to a flop of king jack 7 with 2 diamonds. We flop the world plus the moon, throw in Mars. Basically, we're never folding here. We have the whole universe. He throws out a c-bet of 150, definitely on the large size. I'm not going to be raising over this size. It feels like he likely has a hand like pocket aces, so I'm going to try to realize my equity. The turn now pairs the king, and he checks. He has around $550 left, and it definitely feels like he has pocket aces. And in a 3-bet pot, this kind of guy looks like he actually might fold a pair of aces when the top card pairs on the turn for an over-the-pot size bet. So I decide to take the bait, and I rip it in for his $550. And while I don't have any footage of him making the call, I found something on the internet that pretty much shows exactly how he called. Shit. Sounds like he has ace king.
The gentleman has diamonds.
No worries though, the river is the 6 of diamonds, and we snap off his ace king. How good do I run? And how bad do I play? In for 2,000, out for 26.91, $691 in 4 hours and 37 minutes, and on to day 13. Day 13, just got to the 7 Mile. You can actually see my car is charging. It's plugged into this. I'm only 1 hour behind schedule, so doing totally fine. Tomorrow's a Super Bowl. So I wanted to try to get a nice session in today, perhaps 6 hours or so, but the problem is that I'm number 16 on the list. So I might be chilling in the car for a while. Luckily, I brought my laptop, So I'm gonna be editing a vlog while I wait. Day 13, and this is the only hand of real significance that I play in a very short session. Dealt ace-7 of clubs, make it 40 in middle position. One of the things you guys will notice is that my sizings are really big, in particular when there is loose action in one of the blinds, small blind or big blind. The hijack calls and the small blind calls, and we go 3 ways to a flop. 7, 7, 5, rainbow. Can't really say much else about this flop other than
Nice!
we bet $60, the hijack calls, small blind folds, it turns the 3 of spades, we bet 150, hijack calls, and the river is the 9 of diamonds. We bet all in for his remaining $300, all in. And he ends up making a fold after a long deliberation. Quick little Saturday session, in for $1,000, out for $1,484, $484 profit, and we're on to Super Bowl Sunday. Day 14, embracing the grind. Game was not great. Game was playing a little bit small. Actually, as soon as I left, one of my friends, Flo, you probably remember him from a previous vlog, somebody that I used to stake. He actually now lives in San Diego, and he showed up right as I was leaving. It's funny, he texted me probably 3 hours later, and he said, I don't know how you have the patience for this game. It's a reminder that cash game poker is a game of patience, and sometimes you're going to show up to the poker table and the game's not going to be big, it's not going to be good. People are going to be limping and folding. People are just going to be outright folding, and that's just part of the game. He definitely had watched my first episode and was wondering how I was winning or losing 1,500 in a session, but I told him just to be patient and gave him some of my patented advice, which is to let the game come to him. Off to the 7 Mile again today for day 14, Super Bowl Sunday, but here we go, 14 days in a row, starts now. We just wrapped up at the 7 Mile, and I lost 800 bucks in like 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours. Some fairly standard spots. Let me cover that standard spot before we move on from the day. Middle position open to 20, button called, small blind called, and we were in the big blind with pocket queens. Very standard 3-bet spot here. So we make it 130 from the big blind. And after some deliberation, the middle position player decides on moving all in for $520. We obviously make the quick call here. Never going to be folding this hand for this stack size. And we get shown the bad news of pocket kings. But I think the important takeaway here is that sometimes you just have to lose hands. And if we would have taken the low variance route here with pocket queens, sure, in this instance, it would have worked out better for us. But in the long run, we are going to be missing way too much value by flatting. So let's get back to my car ride and wrap up day number 14. Excited to take the night off from poker and spectate some sports. We're on day 15.
What's up, Johnny?
I'm with some of the best regulars here at 7 Mile. Say what's up, guys.
Thank you, Johnny.
Day 15, let's get it started right now. Day 15 was absolutely boring. I feel like what I talked about with Flo earlier on in this vlog through text message foreshadowed today exactly. I was never up more than $150 and I was never down more than 200. Basically bounced back and forth between those two numbers the entire session. 5 hours of that. Never playing a big hand. Not to mention getting owned by Glenn.
Well, I just want to be on video.
You gotta play a bigger pot.
35. I won money off of you.
Oh, you think that's going in the vlog? Yes, Glenn, you got me. You limp re-raised jacks. You got my $50. In for $1,200, out for $1,105. Thank you guys for watching episode 3 of Embrace the Grind. I wanted to let you know before I go that on Sunday, February 17th, Christy Arnett and Wino Poker are having a meetup game at the Commerce. For more details, see their Instagram. But I'm going to be there, and it's going to be a $5 big blind game. It's going to be day 28 of my Embrace the Grind series. It's going to be a lot of fun, so if you're in the LA area, I hope to see you there. If I don't see you at Commerce or 7 Mile, I'll see you in a poker room near you. Thanks for watching, guys. I did lose a $4,000 pot last night. I've been losing big. All right, guys, today is day number 20. It's gonna be one of my longest days on the grind. Hope everyone is enjoying their morning kofifi, and good luck on the grind today.
He's playing it. Is it dollars? Yeah, the singles. He's got some.